Every Star Trek Captain Warp catchphrase explained. The starships of Star Trek have seen many captains, and almost all of them has uttered a catchphrase when preparing the ship for warp speed. The moment a starship jumps into warp is a moment full of endless possibilities. It seems fitting that most captains would choose to punctuate this moment with a memorable saying. The warp catchphrase has become such a staple that Star Trek Discovery showed the crew members eagerly anticipating what a new captain would say and then poking fun at them if their chosen phrase didn't quite work. Captain Spock, Leonard Nimoy, was in charge of the USS Enterprise when it was a training vessel in Star Trek II, The Wrath of Khan, but he never uttered a warp catchphrase before ceding the center seat to Admiral James T. Kirk, William Shatner. Perhaps this is because of his experience in Star Trek Strange New Worlds Season 2's premiere when LT Spock, Ethan Peck, said, "I would like the ship to go." Now, after LT, Erica Ortega's Melissa Navia asks him what his catchphrase will be. While that particular phrase might be a bit too clunky to stick, here are 17 warp catchphrases that have been used by various starship captains. Star Trek captain catchphrases don't get much simpler than this. In Star Trek Discovery Season 1, Captain Gabriel Lorca, Jason Isaacs, simply says "go" just before the USS Discovery engages its spore displacement hub drive. Everyone on the ship is nervous to use the spore drive, but Lorca delivers his concise command in a way that communicates his authority and confidence. While it's not a particularly creative catchphrase, it serves to get his meaning across. Taking into account Lorca's no-nonsense demeanor, it's possible he simply couldn't be bothered to come up with a lengthier warp catchphrase. Captain James T. Kirk made use of this catchphrase in Star Trek V: The Final Frontier, but he's not the only Star Trek captain to have said it. Saru, Doug Jones, tries this one as captain of the USS Discovery to signal the use of the spore drive. Saru struggled to find his perfect captain's catchphrase, and execute just doesn't quite stick. It's not an elegant word, and it feels clunky to shout when in the middle of a potentially tense situation. After having previously tried execute out as his potential catchphrase, Saru then chooses to go with carry on. While this one arguably works better than execute, it feels almost too passive.